Well, the sound bites are back, everybody. And my camera's at a different angle, so you must know what it already do. Baby, welcome everyone. It is your 10-minute sports report. I am your host, Captain Boren, and I am getting jiggy with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the new computer. It is in, it is big, it is nice, and its name is Captain Boring. We are live from Wolverines Avenue in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. This is your 10-minute sports report. We got a lot to go over. We had a bunch of game threes, a bunch of game fours in both sports. A very famous tight end in the National Football League signed an extension. We got MLB standing updates. So let's just jump right in. And the very famous tight end who's dating one singer, Taylor Swift, and her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, signs a 2-year, $34.5 million extension with the Kansas City Chiefs. $17 million of that is fully guaranteed. The rest will be guaranteed on the third day of the 2025 league year. Travis Kelce is 34 years old. Today we had a chance to get out there in phase 2. And guys, we're out there running around, and Travis was the first guy in line. I mean, he looked like he was 28 years old. This deal will take him to 36. The age his brother Jason and podcast co-host also just retired. So keep an eye on there. But Travis Kelce seems to be a Chief for life. Alrighty, everybody, let's go back to Friday evening and see what happened in game number 3 between the Indiana Pacers and Milwaukee Bucks. It was a sight to behold. Chris Middleton dropped 42 points and 10 rebounds, including a buzzer beater at the end of regulation to force overtime. He had one right before that also tied the game, and then he had one in overtime that tied the game. However, it was their star Tyrese Halliburton who finished with 18 points, 16 assists, and 10 rebounds. That marks a triple-double. Miles Turner had 29 points as well, as the Indiana Pacers get a 121-118 win in overtime to take a 2-1 series lead. Also that night, it was game 3 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi Leonard sat out. That's been his thing. He has been good when he has played, but he has missed a lot of time, both in his previous career stint with the San Antonio Spurs and now with the Los Angeles Clippers. He had one good year with the Toronto Raptors in which he was crowned NBA champion. Well, in game 3 in Dallas, it was all Dallas all the time. Kyrie Irving finished with 21 points. Luka Doncic finished with 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, falling one assist, short of a triple-double, as they walk away with a 2-1 series lead Friday night with a 101-90 victory. Also that night, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves traveling to Phoenix to take on the very rich, very loaded Phoenix Suns. And Anthony Edwards did what Anthony Edwards did. He falls 1 rebound short of a double-double. He had 36 points and 9 boards. 4 of the 5 starters scored in double figures. Bradley Beal added 28 points. Devin Booker had 23. Kevin Durant had 25, but it was not enough. It was 126-109, and it was a beatdown as the Minnesota Timberwolves take a 3-0 lead. That was Friday night. Let's go to Saturday. Saturday. The Orlando Magic look to continue to hold serve in winning both of their home games. It was close at halftime, and then it wasn't. A 37-10 run in the third quarter put the Orlando Magic out in front for good. Franz Wagner went to Michigan. He had 34 points and 13 rebounds for the Orlando Magic as they drubbed the Cleveland Cavaliers 112-89 to tie the series at 2 games apiece, and more importantly, hold serve in home court advantage. And then the number 1 seed out west, the Oklahoma City Thunder, went to New Orleans, and it was all Oklahoma City all the time. 4 or 5 stars scored in double figures, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had 24, and it was a 106-85 beatdown as the Oklahoma City Thunder pushed the New Orleans Pelicans to the brink of elimination. And then finally, game 3 between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat had stole home court advantage in game 2, and then Boston stole it right back in game 3, led by 22 points by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The Boston Celtics get a 104-84 victory, and home court advantage is now back in Boston's possession. And then finally, on Saturday night, the Los Angeles Lakers, who were down 3-0 in the series, they came away with a gutsy win. LeBron James had 30 points. He wasn't getting swept. Anthony Davis had 25 points and 23 rebounds on the day. 4 or 5 starters scored in double figures. The same with the Denver Nuggets. However, it was a 119-108 victory for the Los Angeles Lakers as they avoided elimination and staved off a sweep with a 119-108 victory. Alrighty, let's go ahead to Sunday, where it was Jalen Brunson and the hustle of the New York Knicks as they take a commanding 3-1 series lead over the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid had 27 points and 10 rebounds, but he couldn't rebound late. Tyrese Maxey had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, but could not finish at the rim late. Kelly Oubre Jr. was 3 of 7 from downtown, but couldn't hit a 3 in the fourth quarter. They had a 12-point lead in the third quarter that evaporated into a 5-point loss. The New York Knickerbockers lead this series by a score of 3-1. Game 5 shifts back, elimination game to New York. Also, it was game 4 in Dallas. Dallas had stolen home court advantage in game 2, and LA got it back in game 4. Behind 33 points from both Paul George and James Harden, they tied the series at 2. Kyrie Irving had 40 points. Luka Doncic had a triple-double with 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, but it was not enough. 116-111 winners are the LA Clippers. In the 3-6 matchup, it was all the 6 seed, it was all the 6 seed all the time. The Milwaukee Bucks, the 3 seed, were without both Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. They relied on Chris Middleton, who got 25 points. Brook Lopez had 27, but it was not enough. Miles Turner had 29 points. Tyrese Halliburton had 24. And after a gut-wrenching overtime loss in Game 3, the Indiana Pacers walk away with a 13-point win and a 3-1 series lead as they go back to Milwaukee for Game 5. And then finally, the most disappointing team in the NBA this season is officially eliminated. The Phoenix Suns, the 6th seed, get swept out of the playoffs by the 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves behind 40 points from Anthony Edwards. He is turning into quite a superstar, if not one of the best players in the NBA. 28 points from Karl Anthony Towns. Kevin Durant did what he could, 33 points. However, Devin Booker really did what he could with 49 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. It wasn't anywhere close to good enough. 122-116, and the Phoenix Suns are gone from the NBA playoffs. Tonight is Game 4 between the number 1 seed in the East, the Boston Celtics, and the Miami Heat. It is also Game 4 between the Oklahoma City Thunders and the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans try to stave off elimination, being down 3-0. The Heat and Boston series, I go back to that. Boston leads that 2-1. And then finally, Lakers, Nuggets. Lakers will try to do it again, stave off elimination one more time as they trail in that series as well, 3 games to none. Alrighty, let's go on over to the fight for Lord Stanley Cup, and we'll pick it up on Friday night, Game 3 between the number 1 seed and the best team in hockey, the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. And the New York Rangers did what they do best. They got 2 goals in the first period and 1 in the second, and that was enough. They got a 3-1 victory. They take a 3-0 series lead there, and they push the Washington Capitals, I think I said Nationals, Washington Capitals to the brink of elimination. Also, later that night, it was Game 3 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators in a tight game. It was Luke Evangasta. I don't even know what that was, if I'm being honest. And I said the wrong name. Brock Bozier in the second period. He put Vancouver up 2-1. Nashville gets that goal late in the third, and they finish with a final score of 2-1 to take a 2-1 series lead. Also that night, it was Game 3 between the Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. The Avalanche got one goal from Valeri Nichushkin. They got 1 goal from their star, Nathan McKinnon. They got another goal in the third by David Towns. Those were 3 of the 5 third period goals. They were trailing 2-1 before the third period. They go on to win 6-2 to take a 2-1 series lead. Also on Friday, Edmonton went to Los Angeles, and Los Angeles had home court advantage stolen. Well, no more. Zach Hyman scored twice. Connor McDavid scored once. They scored 3 goals in the first, 1 goal in the second, and 2 in the third to get a 6-1 victory to take a 2-1 series lead and take back home court advantage. And then finally on Friday night, it was Game 4 between the Carolina Hurricane and the New York Islanders. And the New York Islanders staved off elimination with a second overtime goal by Matthew Brazel. They get a 3-2 victory to stave off elimination. They still trail in that series 3-1. Fast forward, Saturday night, it was Game 4 between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay was down and out. They are down 3-0. Well, they came out like the team that was trying to put them away. They score 3 goals in the first, 1 goal in the second, and 2 goals in the third to get a 6-3 victory. Brandon Hagel scores 2 goals, 1 in the first and second, to lead the way for Tampa. They still, however, trail in this series 3-1. Also on Saturday, the Boston Bruins took on their arch rivals, Toronto Maple Leafs. They were leading 2-1. They were feeling good, and they came away feeling good. David Pastrnak added the icing on the cake in the second period. 2 goals in the second period for the Boston Bruins. They get a 3-1 victory to take a commanding 3-1 series lead and push the Toronto Maple Leafs to the brink of elimination. And then finally on Saturday night, it was Game 3 between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas had stolen both home games and had control of this series. Well, Dallas stole it right back. Wyatt Johnson scored once in the first and once in overtime, and the overtime goal obviously was the winner. They get a 3-2 win over Vegas to now only trail 2-1. And then last night, Sunday, Game 4 between the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche, and it was more Valeri Nichushkin in the second period. Cale Makar, he also added a goal. It was 3 goals for the Avs in the second period. Valerie Nichushkin added another goal in the third. They get a 5-1 victory to take a commanding 3-1 lead to push the Jets on the brink of elimination. Also, the Vancouver Canucks push the Nashville Predators on the brink of elimination with a 4-3 win in overtime. Elias Lindholm, scored the overtime winner. Brock Bozier had 2 goals in the third period to tie the game to force overtime. Predators down to their last game. And then it's a sweep by the number 1 team in hockey. The New York Rangers swept the Washington Capitals by a score of 4-2 there, and it was not even close. And then finally, the Edmonton Oilers also pushed the LA Kings to the brink of elimination. They got 1 goal in this game. It was Evan Bacard, and it was enough. It came in the second period, and that's all that was needed. 1-0 win. They push the Kings to the brink of elimination. Coming up tonight, the Tampa Bay Lightning try to stave off elimination on the road in Florida. They trail the Panthers 3-1, and they hope to at least force a Game 6. And then finally, it's Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. They are in Vegas, and Vegas leads the series 2-0. 2-1, excuse me. And then finally, your MLB standings, and let's get you on out of here then. So, the American League East, the New York Yankees lead that division by a full game over the Baltimore Orioles. The Red Sox are in third with 3 games back. Toronto Blue Jays, 5 games back. Tampa Bay Rays, 6 games back. In the Central, the Cleveland Guardians have firm control over that. 2.5 games ahead of the Kansas City Royals, 3 games ahead of the Tigers, 4.5 ahead of the Twins, and 13 games ahead of the worst team in baseball, Chicago White Sox, or at least one of them. Out west, Seattle Mariners lead the defending World Series champs by a half game. That would be the Texas Rangers. Oakland Athletics, who are moving to Vegas, trail by 3.5. Los Angeles Angels, 5. Houston Astros trail by 6 games. If we switch over to the National League, the Atlanta Braves lead the Philadelphia Phillies by 1.5 games. They lead the Mets by 5.5. They lead the Nationals by 6.5, and the Miami Marlins, who also have 6 wins, by 14.5 games. In the Central, the Milwaukee Brewers lead the Chicago Cubs by a half game, the Cincinnati Reds by 2.5, the Pirates by 4, and the St. Louis Cardinals by 4.5. Out west, the highest salary team in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers, lead the San Francisco Giants by 3.5, the San Diego Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks by 4.5, and the Colorado Rockies, who won their 7th game last night, by 10 games. And that'll do it for today's rendition of the 10-Minute Sports Report. I want to thank you all for being here. I am very excited. Comment question of the day down below. How do you like it? With the new setup, did it sound good? Was it good? Let me know. And that'll do it for today's episode. Remember, God loves you. I will pray God bless you. God blesses you. Remember to wash those hands because y'all are filthy animals. And until next time, remember, I said everything I needed to say. I'm tired. I'm going to go eat dinner. Peace out.